I'm at this open house by myself, got all my material laid out on the kitchen island. All of a sudden, this guy walks in. And he doesn't come in and go to the living room, dining room, kitchen area. He immediately walks to the furthest back bedroom, which was the primary bedroom. When I stepped out into the porch, I actually walked through the driveway to the back of his car. I took a picture of his license plate, and then I stood in the driveway. Behold, the police finally got there. They ran his plate and found out he was a flasher.
Oh, God.
Live love, New Mexico, where dreams take flight. In this land of sunshine, our hearts ignite.
Welcome back, everyone, to Live, Love, New Mexico. I'm Samuel Anderson, the marketing director here at the Venturi Realty Group of Real Broker. And today's episode is one of the most important ones we've ever done. We're talking about safety for agents, for buyers, and for sellers. From red flags to real-world tactics, we're breaking it down with someone who brings unmatched insight. She's a qualifying broker here at Real Broker and a trailblazer in the industry. And before that, she served as law enforcement at some of the highest levels. Please welcome Cassandra Morrison. Cassandra, why don't you just give us a brief rundown on some of your history since you're new to the show?
Oh my gosh. Well, thanks for having me, by the way. This is amazing. My history. Let's see. I did 20 years in law enforcement here in the city of Albuquerque with the Albuquerque Police Department. I did double duty for about 2.5, almost 3 years, becoming a realtor. So I've been in real estate now just shy of 15 years.
And joining me today as a co-host once again is one of our returning favorites, Sonia Kalvert. Sonia, go ahead and say hello to everybody. Remind everybody who you are.
I'm Sonia Kalvert. Welcome back.
And so today I'm going to let Sonia kind of drive the bus on this one. I'm going to set the stage a little bit. Real estate professionals spend a lot of time thinking about clients and contracts, obviously, but probably not nearly enough time thinking about what could possibly go wrong and how to keep themselves and others safe. So let's start there. Sonia, why don't you go ahead and start with some of our questions?
Okay. Thank you, Sam. Well, Cassandra, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I think this subject is really, really important. And I know you're an expert. So what do you think are the biggest blind spots when it comes to how our industry treats safety? And why do you think it's not discussed more often?
The reason why I think it's not discussed is because it's such a sensitive issue. People have to be vulnerable to say, hey, I had this showing, I was scared. Hey, I've got this client I'm not comfortable with. They have to be vulnerable. And for men or women to admit that, especially in this profession, it's just not something that's even discussed, even considered. The biggest blind spot I see is the exact same thing. They walk around with their head in the sand, just thinking everything's going to be okay. Yeah. And they take it for granted, when a lot of times that's not the case.
And so that being said, would you say that probably before we get into, you've got a lot of safety tips here that you're going to give us, but would you say that the very first one would be to stay vigilant and to be aware of your surroundings all the time?
Absolutely. Not only be aware of your surroundings, but be aware of how those surroundings make you feel. Be aware of how that person makes you feel. If you feel something in your gut or in your heart or in your mind, something's off, go with that. Stop doing what you're doing if it doesn't feel right. That's the number one thing I think everyone should do.
Yeah, I think sometimes we just want to push that feeling away and go, oh, it's just in my head. But listening to your gut is extremely important.
That's huge.
Yeah.
And a lot of people say women's intuition. Well, gentlemen have the intuition as well.
Right.
They need to pay attention to it just like we do.
Yeah.
And so just follow up a little bit on that, both of you. If you could just give us a few quick examples of sometimes when you've had some gut feelings that made you say, maybe I want to get out of here, even if it didn't necessarily lead to anything dramatic.
I'll tell you my first open house ever, when I was still in law enforcement, still a police officer, and newly licensed. I had an open house, and I had done what I call my 10, 10, and 20. Knocked 10 doors to the left, 10 to the right, and 20 across the street. And I found a lady who was right across the street, an elderly woman. And I said, hey, look, if you see anything wrong on Saturday when I'm having the open house, would you just please call the police, especially if you see me standing in the driveway.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm standing on the porch, everything's fine. But if you see me in the driveway, call the police. Well, lo and behold, I'm at this open house by myself, got all my material laid out on the kitchen island. All of a sudden, this guy walks in. And he doesn't come in and go to the living room, dining room, kitchen area. He immediately walks to the furthest back bedroom, which was the primary bedroom.
Mm.
And I was like, okay, that's odd. Usually people want to see the living room and the kitchen and the finishes. So I started to become heightened awareness then.
Mm-hmm.
Then he started yelling from the back of the house, what is this? Tell me what I'm looking at. And he was yelling. I started moving towards the front door at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew that house was 100% vacant except for 2 rolls of toilet paper because I had put them in there.
Right.
Both bathrooms had a roll of toilet paper. So I knew what he was saying and what he was asking wasn't measuring up.
Yeah.
So started to feel stuff in my gut like this isn't right. Moved even closer to the front door, moved down the hallway to the front door, stepped outside the front door, and this yelling is still going on. I said, explain to me what you're looking at. I don't know what you're looking at. Come back here and let me show it to you. I was like, nope.
Mm-mm.
At that point, I stepped out into the porch. I actually walked through the driveway to the back of his car. I took a picture of his license plate, and then I stood in the driveway. And at that point, the lady from across the street came over with her portable phone. Remember those?
Yeah.
The big long antenna?
Yeah, yeah.
She came over with her portable phone, and she says, I'm calling 911. I said, great.
Wow.
This guy came out of the house screaming absurdities, B words, C words, D words, all kinds of nastiness.
Oh my
Got in his
gosh.
car, peeled out and left. Lo and behold, the police finally got there. They ran his plate and found out he was a flasher.
Oh gosh.
Yes. So again, paying attention to my gut that something's not right.
Yeah.
I couldn't put my finger on it, couldn't tell you what it was. Something that was going on wasn't right. And I paid attention.
Yeah.
And thank goodness the lady saved my life, she tells all her friends.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I think you mentioned that story once before. Don't you bring her like cookies?
I do
every
around Christmas
year?
time.
I remember that.
Yeah.
That's so sweet.
She's a doll. She
Wow.
still tells all her friends she saved my life that day. I will never change that story.
Yeah. No, whether she did or she didn't, it's
I
all
got home
good.
safe.
You got home safe.
all I care about.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So did you want me to tell a story, Sam? Or
Yeah, go ahead. And if you have a gut story, I know that you told one earlier.
I do have a gut
You can go
story.
ahead.
I got a call to go show a home, a pretty expensive home. And I looked the person up because we have this app that we're going to talk about in a little bit. But everything was going fine. We're walking through the house, but it was a very large home. It had a casita and another room and huge house. We were looking for a little while, and I just got a little bit of a bad feeling from this person. And I know this is going to sound dramatic, but I honestly thought, this person's going to strangle me.
my-
That's
oh my
what I
gosh.
felt like. This person's going to hurt me. And I'm going to die in this house.
Not good.
Not good. But I had a really just bad feeling. And in the past, and what I've done in the past is be like, it's just in your head. This could never happen. Don't worry about it. But I listened and I said, oh, you know what? And we were there for a while.
Yeah.
And I said, oh gosh, I looked at my phone. I said, I have another appointment I have to get to. So I'm sorry, I have to lock up now. And I did. And I locked up and I left. And I said, I am never showing this person another house again. And I just listened to my gut and just left. And I'm glad I did. Whether anything would have happened or not, I don't know. But I wasn't going to take a chance.
Good. And
Yeah.
that's called intuition. You've got to pay attention to
You
that.
got to pay attention. Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that's one of the biggest things that Cassandra's going to make a point with today is that trust your gut anytime you can, because I believe she put it best earlier when she said, trusting your gut and being safe is way more important and way more valuable than any commission that you might get.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Alrighty, we're going to zoom in a little bit. And since we were already talking about agent safety, let's focus a little bit more on that. Let's talk about what agents really need to be thinking about when it comes to staying safe on the job. Sonia, go ahead.
Okay. So let's start with this. What can agents do before they ever meet a lead to make sure they're setting themselves up for a safe situation?
First and foremost, always use Forewarn. Even if they are a referral from a friend, always use Forewarn. If you knew this person back in middle school or elementary school, always use Forewarn.
Could you tell us a little bit about what Forewarn is?
Forewarn is an amazing program that our association brought in as part of our membership. We can enter people by their phone number that they're calling us from,
Mm-hmm.
or we can enter them by name. So searching both ways is the way I like to do it. Phone number first, verify the name, and then go back in and search by name to see if anything else comes up like an alias.
Okay.
But always, always, always use Forewarn. Some of the other avenues that I use in my business is I always go into do a basic Google search by name, a basic Google search by phone number. And the reason why I want to do a Google search by name is I want to click over and go to images.
Mm.
And I want to see if there's any images. This played a role in one of the clients that I was screening. Nice young man called me on the phone, first-time home buyer, pre-qualified. And when I Googled him and I pulled up images, it had him standing with an assault rifle and his finger was on the trigger. This is one of his Facebook posts also. And I immediately thought right there, I'm not doing this alone.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Right.
Now, if he's a professional shooter for competition, that's
He's-
one thing. But if he does this just to be cool, that's not my type of client. So I always go through Google and search them. I also go to big social medias, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, now known as X. I always run them through all of those as well to see what else I can come up with.
Yeah.
And interestingly enough, if you run somebody's phone number through Facebook, you may find that they've used that phone number to list something for sale. And that can give you an idea of what type of person they are as well.
Right, like on a Facebook marketplace or something
Exactly.
like that.
Exactly. Another thing I do is I go into New Mexico courts and I look them up, nmcourts.gov. If you go in there, you can search them by name, and I see what kind of history they have there as well. Now, remember, if they're coming in from another state, you may not find anything in NM courts. You may have to search for their state that they are coming in from, for instance, California or Arizona.
Yeah, right.
And you can search those states as well. But I try to do as much background on the unknown person as I can before I ever meet them. Not everybody is squeaky clean. I get that. I understand that. People have stuff that happened when they were 18.
Right.
I understand that as well. But if I find out that they are the type of client that I choose not to work with, then I just simply let them know I'm not the right broker for you.
And is that what you say?
Those are the words I use.
Yeah.
I don't give them a reason. I don't let them know what I found. It's not their business. It's my screening that I use for my business.
Right.
And bringing in fair housing to this, we're not allowed to discriminate on certain categories. If you'll notice under the Fair Housing and also New Mexico Human Rights Act, it never says anything about criminal history. Never. So if you have somebody with criminal history that you're not comfortable working with, you're just simply not the right broker for them.
Yeah. And that's what you just say.
That's it.
Okay.
And if they say why, I just say, I'm sorry, you'll have to choose into somebody else.
Yeah.
And hopefully that next person will do what I did.
Right.
But again, I'm not going to tell other people how to run their business. That's how I choose to run mine.
Yeah. Smart.
Yeah, and if I get people that I'm a little uncomfortable with, I'm probably going to try and bring in my husband. I'm probably going to try and bring in a friend to go with me. I'm not going to do it alone.
So what happens when you're at the appointment, whether it's a showing or an open house? What habits should be automatic for every agent?
Never, ever, ever let anybody walk behind you. That's something that you're way too vulnerable. Just like driving your car and somebody's in your blind spot in your car, things can happen, right?
Right.
Same thing when they're in your blind spot when you're on your feet.
Mm-hmm.
Things can happen, and you don't want things to happen. So do not let anybody walk behind you. Have them enter the home first. Have them enter the room first. Keep them in front of you. And if you have like maybe a mom, dad, and 2 kids, keep all 4 of them in front of you because you just don't know.
Right.
But keeping people in front of you would probably be my number one thing. And setting boundaries when you enter a home. Setting boundaries for the client. You're not to touch anything. Because if you're going to show a home and there's a cool knife block in the kitchen or the dining room, or maybe one of those magnetic strips with all the knives on it,
Yeah.
you don't want them approaching anything like that.
Right.
Anything. I don't even like that stuff in photographs, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But you have to keep them in front of you.
So do you tell people that before you go show them a home?
Yeah, as part of my buyer's consultation, I do.
Oh, okay.
When we enter homes, you're not allowed to touch anything. It's up to me.
Right.
So please let me touch everything. If they want to open a door and look in it, they can open the door, but they cannot touch anything inside that door.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, like a linen closet or maybe a master closet, things like that.
Right. Okay.
And just to follow up on that a little bit, give us a few pointers about when you're a solo agent. What are some safety tips that they should do if they're showing by themselves and there's quite a bit of traffic?
Never, ever, ever show at night. And it gets kinky in the fall, right? Because we start getting dark around 5 o'clock. Most people get out of work at 5, 6 o'clock. Those are showings that you should probably schedule on a Saturday or Sunday morning.
Yeah.
But never show at night. That's another thing that I do not do anymore.
I actually made the mistake of doing that.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah. When I first came on the team, I had a buyer wanted to go look out in like Belen or something. It was in the fall. And it was dark.
Oh, gosh.
And I had never been out there because I just moved here a year ago. And it was that 2-lane like road.
Yeah.
And it was dark. And I found the house and I pulled off on the driveway, but I was in the wrong driveway. I was in the neighbor's driveway. And then that neighbor was mad. And he came out and he said, "What are you doing on my property?" And I said, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize this was your driveway. I got a little confused about where it was." And he was like, "Get off my property right now."
Oh, wow.
Woo! So I did.
Good.
And I was like, that's the last time I'm showing a house at night because you can't even see it anyway.
No.
You know what I mean? So, and
And
I know
if you
some,
turn on all the lights, you still can't
I
see the
know,
outside.
I know some people like work and maybe they can't get off work till the evening, but I'm like, let's just wait till the weekend.
For sure. Yeah. Another thing, you mentioned parking. When you're pulling up to a property to show it, do not ever park in the driveway. Because if the client shows up in their car, they will block you in. I call it being parked in.
Yeah.
And if something were urgent and you needed to leave quickly, you would be unable to do so.
Right.
So when I'm approaching houses, I always pull past the house and go up maybe a house or two, do a U-turn and come back.
Okay. And park across the street.
and park across the street
Yeah. So you can get out easy.
so I can get out easy, and also keeping myself visible. Because if I'm parked in the driveway, neighbors are going to go by, everybody's going to go by thinking everything's normal.
Right, right.
Whereas if I'm coming out of the house and crossing the street, I'm drawing somebody's attention.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
do not park in the driveway. Ever let them park in the driveway.
Right.
It's going to be their home, hopefully, if they write the offer
Yeah.
and purchase the home. But do not ever park in the driveway. I don't care how big the driveway is. 5 cars, 10
Yeah.
cars. Yeah.
Ever since you mentioned that at the safety thing you did, I don't park in the driveway anymore. But I used to.
A lot of people still do.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, and that's concerning.
Yeah. And now I don't.
Yeah. And when you're dealing with like open houses and stuff, think of now, since we had that North settlement in August,
Mm-hmm.
more buyers are going to open houses.
Yes.
So open houses are a lot more busy than they were.
That's right.
So my thing with open houses is you should never be doing it alone.
Mm-hmm.
You need to have a person doing it with. It could be a home inspector you team up with. It could be a title company you team up with, a
Right.
lender you team up
lender.
with.
And they'll do it with you.
They will.
Yeah.
And normally they even bring goodies.
Right.
Let them bring them.
Right.
But don't do it alone because you're going to have more people through those open houses than we used to.
And then, so we talked about that, but anything that we should do after leaving the appointment?
Get in your car and lock the door. Wait for your clients to leave. I've been in situations where maybe I wasn't feeling 100% comfortable, but not comfortable enough to tell them I'm not the right broker.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of going and putting the key back in the lockbox right away, I will get in my car, lock the door, and say, I'll meet you at the next property.
Oh,
Or have a nice day, let's chat later.
okay.
And then I'll go put the key back after they drive off.
Oh, okay.
And that way I'm not bent over putting the key in with somebody behind me.
Right, right.
I've been known to do that much more than once.
Okay. That's great. I'm going to be doing that from now on too. Thank you for that.
You bet.
That's all some really great advice. A lot of stuff that probably people haven't really thought of. And so it's really great to get that kind of insight from a former law enforcement sergeant. And so that being said, let's go ahead and move on to our next segment, which we're going to call Buyer and Seller Safety, what they might not think about. We're going to shift gears and talk about clients, buyers and sellers. Sonia, take it away.
Okay. So, Cassandra, most buyers and sellers probably think they have nothing to worry about. But what are some of the hidden risks or safety tips they should be aware of?
Let's talk about sellers first.
Okay.
Sellers, when you're going in for your listing consultation and you're doing your prep to get that house ready to go on the market or have photographs taken, first and foremost, anything that could be considered a danger. Some people have like guns displayed on the wall or maybe in a beautiful glass front cabinet.
Mm-hmm.
That's not acceptable for me to be accessible or photographed.
Okay.
I don't want any of that stuff in the photos. Even if it's a closed front safe and it says Remington on the front of it, I don't even want that in photographs because that lets any buyer know that they have a safe full of something important. So that's one thing I have them do is cover it up, put it somewhere where they can't see it.
Okay.
I do not let my photographers photograph that kind of stuff. And if they do, I don't post the photographs.
Okay.
Also, photographs of their children that they may have hanging on the wall.
Mm.
We see that a lot where they have photographs of their children when they were 1 month all the way up to 18 years.
Right.
I want them to remove all family photographs of their children
Okay.
because it's real easy for someone to go in there or even see it online and they see in the background there's a picture of, oh, my child went to El Dorado High School. This is what they look like.
Right.
It could pose a potential risk that we can get rid of. So those photographs, I do ask my clients to pack them up and put them away.
Yeah.
Knife blocks, I keep bringing that up. That's one of my pet peeves in houses. Even if I'm having an open house, if I'm showing a house, if I'm listing a house, I tell them all that stuff has to be put away. Because when you walk into a kitchen with clients, and usually I try to keep a barrier between me and clients if they're going to walk into the kitchen, maybe an island, maybe a peninsula, maybe
Yeah.
bar stools, something. Because they're walking into an area that's known to have something sharp.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And I want at least a reactionary period. So walking into offices with scissors, sometimes they have them stuck in their cute little desk ornament with
Right.
scissors down. I don't even like that. So these are all things, again, that could potentially be used against you.
Right. So if you're going to do an open house, let's just say, or for a colleague, it's not your listing, so you don't know where all those things are. Would you go, obviously get there a little bit early? Would you then put those things away?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I
Okay.
try it, and it's really strange because think about your keys. Everybody has like a little key rack in their house, right?
Right.
Where do we normally see that? It's by the front door or in the
Mhm.
utility room, right?
Yeah.
I take those and I put them in the dryer
Oh,
Why
in
do
the
I put 'em in the dryer? because the minute they turn that thing on, they're going to hear it.
That's right.
The minute they turn it on, and that's where I put the key rack. I don't want it on the wall. Sometimes I have to take all the keys off,
Right.
maybe put them in a bowl, a plastic bowl that I can find, and
Yeah.
put them in the dryer because I don't want any of that stuff to be seen. I have 2 keys on my rack at home,
Uh-huh.
and one is to my storage shed because there's nothing valuable in it,
Right.
and the second one is to my mailbox. That's
That's
the only
it.
thing that's on my key rack.
Yeah.
So I would be not even comfortable, but If somebody were to take those, that's okay.
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah.
There's nothing valuable.
Yeah, I haven't thought about that because anybody could just grab those keys and come and open up the house later.
Or take your car later if you leave
Take
it
your
parked in the
car later.
driveway.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Which we're not parking in the driveway.
no, we're not.
Okay.
But your customers are.
That's
Your
right.
customers are.
That's right. That's right. Okay.
And so on that note, since we covered the seller side, could just give us a quick rundown of a few things that buyers might want to be aware of when they go to open houses to stay safe.
Again, stay together. Keep your hands off everything.
Yeah.
I don't like them touching, even if they see something you don't like on the table and pick it up, reading the magazine. I don't like them touching anything. And what I try to tell clients is you never know when you're on camera and when you're not. So if we walk into somebody's bedroom and you want to go over there and you want to lay down on their bed, they may have a camera in there. How's it going to look?
Right.
So please don't touch anything.
And I think most people have cameras in their house.
Most of them do now.
Yeah. Even just when you walk in, even just the doorbell camera.
Right.
So you know who's in your house, who's walking in
Exactly.
your house. Yeah.
I showed a house not too long ago. This is up in a decent area of town, very decent area of town. And in the primary suite, there were cameras and audio, which I was like, and I can usually pick that stuff out.
Yeah.
And it took me a little minute and I found it. And then I pointed out to my client, they do have cameras in here as well, there and there and there.
Yeah.
And I was just like, you have to be careful with that.
So do you tell your buyers when you're showing homes, do you tell your buyers ahead of time, hey, there may be cameras in here?
Always,
Always.
always.
Yeah.
There could be cameras in any house, whether it says it in MLS or not.
Right.
You may see it at the neighbor's house and the neighbor's watching you do something silly.
That is true.
So
Yeah.
do not touch anything. Just don't.
Yeah.
You know, when kids, like when they see the fake waxy fruit, sometimes they want to pick it up.
Right.
And I have to tell them, the client, please do not have your children touching things.
Yeah.
We have to be respectful of their items here.
Right. So let them know when they bring their children, hey, please let your children know we're not to touch anything when we go in.
Yeah. I had
Yeah.
a listing up in the Northwest not too long ago where I got a call from my seller saying that the kids were in the backyard rolling around in the grass. And I'm like, okay, well, they weren't really damaging anything. It was just, they had just got out of school kind of thing. I
Right.
can understand my seller's point of view.
Yeah.
But then when I spoke with a broker about it, she goes, yeah, they're a little bit high energy. And I'm like, we need to keep that in check if you guys are going to go back.
Right.
Just please.
Okay.
And she was very nice. We had a very good conversation, giggled about it. But
Yeah.
sometimes it's just a phone call to say, hey, you guys are on camera. Please be aware of that.
Right. Yeah. That's great advice.
That is definitely really good advice. And it's good to make it known that we're not just talking about, of course, our main goal today is physical safety, but we're also talking about protecting you from things like liability and things, which going into somebody else's house and touching a magazine could potentially be, that's a priceless magazine that I had on display. You never
Right.
know. And so that was a great wrap up to that segment because there are definitely things that buyers need to be aware of that they probably just don't even ever really think about. So let's move on to our next bit. Let's talk about tools and tactics. Sonia, I know that you've got quite a few things that you want to ask Cassandra about, so why don't you take it over?
Okay. So are there any tools or apps you recommend for screening new contacts or staying safe once you're out in the field?
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of different websites you can look at. Some people will even pay for membership to different websites where you can pull I think they call it peoplesearch.com. There's one of those where you pay like $1.99 per report.
Yeah.
Well, if you run a lot of clients, that can get very pricey very quick.
Right.
Most of that information, believe it or not, is already on public websites. So I go the free route. So like I said,
I like free.
I like if it's free, it's for me.
Yeah.
But I like to go into different websites like Spokio. Spokio is one of them.
Oh.
Spokio.com. This is really big when we were working different detective units over at the police department. We used to use this all the time to track people's addresses down. And you already get this information through Forewarn, but you might want to verify it through Spokio.
Right.
And so that's one of the ones I still go back to. I've had situations where other brokers have contacted me because somebody made them feel very uncomfortable. Or one of the most recent cases I had, it was a female broker here in our market, and she was receiving very disgusting, explicit text messages from an unknown person. And so I worked with her on her phone. I gave her an app to download, and I believe the name of the app is called Trap and Trace, where when they call in, it puts it through this app, and then it'll tell you the phone number that comes to it.
Oh.
Then we can use the phone number to go to other search engines. So she was able to use that. We found out who it was. I called a private investigator friend of mine, ran a full history on this guy, happened to be a licensed New Mexico broker.
Really?
So that case was very recently, like within the last month, adjudicated. He was charged, I think, from 18 different women that he was doing this stuff to over the phone.
Oh my gosh.
So the FBI got involved in that one. So I can take it a little further if I need to in certain circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like to treat everyone out there like they're the criminal.
Yeah.
I don't. Because again, we're in the business of building relationships.
Right.
Even if you have something in your past, I may still want to build a relationship with you.
Mm-hmm.
But that's my choice. I have to be comfortable with it.
Yeah.
And if I'm not comfortable with it, I'm okay with it too.
I'm not the realtor for you.
I'm not the realtor for you.
Right.
Some people think, oh my gosh, I got to pay my mortgage payment. I've got to get this deal. I don't care what their background is. Like Sam alluded to earlier, there is no commission on the planet that's worth your safety. I don't care if it's a 1.6. I don't care if it's 250,000.
Nothing's
Doesn't
worth it.
matter.
Mm-mm.
If you don't go home at night, your family is without you, your children are without you. That's what matters.
Yeah. Exactly.
And that's why safety is the number one paramount thing that I think everybody should have in the forefront of their mind.
Yeah, I agree.
When I was in law enforcement, we used to have this saying, what is it going to take for me to go home tonight?
Mm.
And I still have that philosophy every time I show a property, every time I go to a listing appointment. And
What's it going to take for me to
what's
go
it going
home
to take for
tonight?
me to go home tonight? And I'll go to a listing appointment. I'll look at the house. They want to give you a tour of the house. Same thing. Sellers are in front of me.
Right.
And I just keep thinking, all right, where are my danger zones here?
Yeah.
Kitchen, obviously. Garage is another space that's real heightened awareness for me.
Mm-hmm.
Office is another one. So when I go into those, I'm really at several feet of distance for
Yeah.
reactionary purposes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great advice.
Alrighty, so let's move on. Let's do some real stories. So I want to bring in a little bit of real world perspective. So Sonia, go ahead and ask Cassandra about some of the things you want to talk to her about.
Okay, so Cassandra, has there ever been a moment in law enforcement or real estate that really changed the way you think about safety?
When I was on the police department getting shot at, that changed me forever. And it made me realize don't take 1 second for granted. I can't explain the person that was shooting the gun. They were a bad aim, obviously, because I'm still here. I did
Thank
not
goodness.
get shot, but I heard the bullet whiz past the left side of my head. And that changes you forever.
Wow.
So I take life as a very precious treat that anything could happen any day, any minute, any second. And that's why I want to be here. I have a great life. I have a wonderful husband. I have 2 amazing bonus kids through him.
Mhm.
I have a wonderful dog. I want to be here for a long, long time.
Right.
And in order to do that, I've got to be safe in what I do.
And how long ago did that happen?
I hadn't been on the department very long, probably 94, 95,
Okay.
1994, 1995.
So it still stays with you,
It
obviously.
stays with you for years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's in real estate. I've had some funny stories happen that stay with me, but it's more of like a comedy of errors.
Yeah.
And those keep me coming back because it's like anything can happen.
Right.
And sometimes it is funny.
Yeah.
I mean, like doubling you over crying tears funny.
Yeah.
But you also have to realize same thing in real estate. You can't take a second for granted. Just because somebody made a referral to you doesn't mean that that referral is a safe referral.
Mm-hmm.
I still run them.
Right.
If they say, oh, I'm going to refer my friend, we went to elementary school together, I'm still going to go through Forewarn. I'm going to go through my procedures and I'm going to go through everything. I may not be the right broker for them. I don't
Yeah.
know what they've been doing since elementary school.
Right.
And we have to get to the bottom of that.
Yeah. And especially because we have the tools, you might as well just use them.
Use the tools
Right?
that are
I
available.
mean, why not?
GAR experimented with a app. This goes back several years. They experimented with an app before they came to Forewarn, and I got to test and evaluate that.
Mm.
Within 24 hours, I was like, this is junk.
Yeah.
Don't do it. Then they came up with Forewarn, and I was like, I'm all in on this.
Yeah.
Because this is a good, and I tested it for accuracy first,
Mm-hmm.
because I want to make sure it was accurate. So I went to my resources to research it, and it's spot on, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think it is an amazing app, but we have to use it. There's still so many brokers. Well, I don't even know how to log in.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, oh gosh.
No.
Like, let me send you the video from GAR so you
Yeah.
can get logged in.
No,
Like, you need
I
to
use
this.
it. I use it every time I'm going to go meet with a client.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's worth it.
And I don't know if New Mexico is the only state that has it because in Bellingham, Washington, they didn't have anything like that, which is where I moved from. And
Wow.
before that, I was in LA and they didn't have anything like that there either.
Believe this, not every MLS in New Mexico has it.
Really?
Really. And I think this should be throughout at
Oh.
least New Mexico. I would love to see it nationwide.
Yes.
We have people like Beverly Carter in Arkansas
Mhm.
who probably would have seen something on those 4 individuals that assaulted her. So
Yeah.
if you use it, that's the key.
You need to use it.
Just like intuition.
Right.
We need to use our intuition as well.
Right. Right.
We
Yeah.
have tools available, but if you're not using them, It's hard to have sympathy. It really is.
Yeah. You have it. You might as well use it. I use the Forewarn every time.
Exactly.
Yeah, you have to.
And it's not something to be joked around about either.
Right.
When you're 2 o'clock in a bar with your drunk friends running everybody, that's not something
No.
to joke about. This is serious to me.
So I can't use it if I'm going to go on a blind date.
No, you're not supposed to.
Well, at least we have some boundaries.
Okay.
Okay, so before we wrap it up, Cassandra, we prepared a nice little list of questions, but Cassandra also came in with a great little cheat sheet of her own. And so we'd kind of like you to just run down as quickly as you need to the little list of things that you think that people need to keep in mind that we probably haven't covered in this.
Yeah, this is just some things that I see in real estate every week, every day, where I think everyone who's in real estate as a broker, as an agent, needs to have heightened awareness. Number one, having open houses.
Mm-hmm.
Our open houses are busier than they've ever been because of the settlement from August. So in August, when NAR came down and said you will have a buyer broker agreement, not everybody's comfortable signing those.
Right.
So the next question is, hey, when's the open house? We're seeing like 35 people come through an open house now. It's
Mhm.
incredible. So when you're having open houses, please, please, please try not to do those alone.
Yeah.
Get a partner, get a teammate, maybe two,
Mm-hmm.
especially if it's the first weekend of the open house. Those are usually a little bit busier.
Right.
Meeting clients for the first time, you and I have talked about that. Do
Mhm.
not ever meet a client for the first time unless they've been screened. Do not ever. That will help you more than it will ever hurt you.
Yeah.
And if you're uncomfortable doing it alone, get a partner, get a teammate, get a colleague, get a friend. I've hired my dog sitter before to go out on showings because he was the only one available. I'm like, I'll
Yeah.
buy you lunch if you go with me.
Yeah.
You do what you got to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Showing vacant or remote properties. And another one of my pet peeves is people who do listings. They'll put in their secluded home, private balcony. Well, all you're doing to a criminal element is giving them the mentality like, oh, I could take them out there and get whatever crime committed that I need to.
Yeah.
So don't use those words. But anytime you're showing a vacant property, your senses need to be heightened as well.
Okay.
Nighttime appointments, don't do it.
I learned.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
Do it during their lunch hour. Do it before lunch or work if you can. But nighttime, please don't do them at the nighttime. And again, fall, winter, it's going to be a little bit more difficult. That's what weekends are for.
Right. Exactly.
We work 7 days a week anyway.
Yeah.
Working in high crime areas, I get asked this question a lot. How can I tell if it's a high crime neighborhood?
Mm-hmm.
Where do I find crime stats on this neighborhood? If I had the answer to that question, I think I could make $1 million. I really do.
Yeah.
Because crime stats being reported are usually delayed,
Oh, okay.
usually delayed by at least 30 days. So for instance, if you had a homicide in a neighborhood, that's not going to be on the map for about 30 days. So I'm not real comfortable giving people crime stats because
Okay.
they're not accurate.
Is there can you go to is there a local police department or something
You
where
can
you can
ask the local police department. However, you have to do what's referred to as an Information Request Act request. So you fill it out
okay.
online and you have to tell them the police beat, the address, the dates. And I want everything within the last 365 days.
Right.
Not only at the address I'm thinking about buying or listing, but probably that entire block or blocks.
Yeah.
So it's hard to narrow it down what's comfortable for the buyer. So usually I tell the buyer, you're going to have to investigate that with the police department or the sheriff's department, depending on
Okay.
where they're living.
Right.
Letting clients drive in your car,
Mm-mm.
I don't do that anymore. And I don't do it for a couple reasons. Number one, if I'm driving, they have the opportunity to be behind me and I don't let people behind me.
Mm-hmm.
And even if it's a one-on-one situation, I use concealed carry. So they're sitting on my gun side, which again is not heard of.
Right.
So having people drive with them, one thing I would tell you guys to investigate is please check with your insurance company, your auto insurance companies,
Mm-hmm.
and make sure your auto insurance covers transporting clients.
Right.
It may not. If I have clients that want to ride with me, I just simply say this vehicle doesn't cover my business. It's a personal vehicle.
Yeah.
I don't have insurance for you to ride in my vehicle.
That's what I'm going to say from now on.
When we have COVID, I was just like, yeah, because of COVID.
Yeah.
COVID's been gone, thank goodness.
Right.
A couple of other situations that have come up just in my career is if you get into any kind of dispute over earnest money or TOM money or any kind of funds. Earnest money, when people want their earnest money back and maybe one party doesn't want to sign it to give it back to them, it gets into this really heated type of discussion.
Yeah.
We have resources for this. It's the ombudsmen through the associations,
Okay.
mediators, if you will.
Right.
Get them involved immediately. Get them involved. Let the clients know, hey, let me get you a professional to deal with the mediation.
Mm-hmm.
And they've been very successful to do it and keep things really toned down so people don't feel upset.
Okay. It's good to know.
Dealing with squatters or trespassers, this happened to us on a realtor tour, believe it or not.
Mm.
We drove up to a realtor to her house. It was on Adams Northeast. I can still remember it. And as I approach houses, when I'm walking up to the house, I look at the right side of the house. Then I look at the front of the house. Then I pass that and I go to the left side of the house. And what I'm looking for is any kind of windows or doors that are open.
Mm.
Or maybe they left them ajar for the evaporative cooling. But at
Okay.
least I know.
Yeah.
Well, when I was approaching this house, I noticed that the garage door to the outside side yard
Mm-hmm.
was busted. Had one of those little square pieces of
Yeah.
glass that had been busted open.
Yeah.
So I immediately told everybody, don't approach the house. It looks like there's forced entry. Step back, get in the cars. And me and another broker, we ended up going to the front door. I don't recommend this.
Okay.
Letting you know this now,
Okay.
just because of our backgrounds.
Right.
But we opened the front door and the guy took off running.
Wow.
Yeah, he was in the house. There was a cooktop. He was making soup. He had a bedroll,
Yeah.
blankets, and a
Yeah.
sleeping bag. He had a knapsack with all his stuff in it. So there was somebody that was being a squatter inside this house.
Wow.
We secured the house the best we could,
Mm-hmm.
called the police, and we told the listing broker, you need to get the seller out here because they've got to secure that somehow.
Yeah.
So we kind of left him behind and went on to the next house.
Yeah.
So they can be in any house nowadays.
Right.
Really, it doesn't matter the area, doesn't matter the zip code,
Mm-hmm.
doesn't matter the level of home.
Yeah.
They can be anywhere. You just have to be aware of it.
And that's usually with vacant homes, right?
Not always.
Okay.
Not always. You'll see some that are fully staged or fully lived in. And maybe the
okay.
sellers went out of town for a month because they're
Right.
like, I don't want to deal with open houses. I'm going to go on vacation.
Right. Right.
They can be any home,
Yeah.
not just vacant.
Okay.
Showing homes alone, if you don't have to, don't.
Okay.
That's going to be my advice. If you have a teammate you can partner up with, or maybe a lender or a title person or an inspector,
Yeah.
if you can get somebody to go with you, go with you. Don't do it alone. And right now we're seeing a ton of online scams,
Yes.
a ton of online scams. Some of the associations throughout the state, Santa Fe's real good at it. Otero County's really good at it. They will send out messages to their entire membership, naming the offender, saying this guy or girl
Mm-hmm.
is pretending to own this property. They give the address and the legal description. They do not own this property.
Right.
It is not for sale. If you have any further contact, notify the authorities.
Wow.
Yeah. I wish we as a state could get better at that,
Yeah.
but some of the associations are better than others reporting that.
Yeah.
Online scams, I'm sure you guys probably see this as well. We'll get the text messages saying, hey, we'll give you a lead for 20% off.
Yeah. I
Believe
don't
it or not,
respond to any of those.
Those are illegal.
Yeah.
You can't share commission with a company. You have to share it with a brokerage
That's true.
in the
That's
state
right.
law.
Yeah.
So-
that's right.
Some people are buying it. Some real estate brokers are buying into this and they shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah. No.
You just have to be careful.
Yeah. There's another piece of advice I remember that you said that also stuck with me is when you're doing open houses, you have to make sure you see the door.
Always.
Don't be back in the kitchen where you can't see the door. I remember you saying that very clearly. So I always make sure, even if it's vacant and it's empty, I have a chair. I sit right by the front
There
door
you go.
and I'm right there so I can see who's coming in.
Yeah, and I learned my lesson on that when I did an open house up in Pepper Tree, and beautiful house. It was elevated. It had this beautiful green lawn that came up to the front,
Mm-hmm.
and I was in the front picture window
Yeah.
watching,
Right.
and then this big, huge white work truck pulled up, and these four big guys got out of this truck, and I was like, it was only me in that house.
That's scary.
And so I immediately went over and locked the front door. I ran to the back and locked the back door because that was
Mhm.
my other exit.
Yeah.
And then I ran to the garage and locked that door, the one that just went into the garage.
Right.
And I just stood there as quiet as a mouse. And they were knocking on the door. Well, there's an open house sign. How come it's not open?
Yeah.
Knocking on the door. Hey, is anybody in there? I didn't keep
You're
a
like,
word.
I'm not opening that
And
door.
I let them walk away. I was not comfortable letting four large gentlemen into that home
Oh
when
my
it was only
gosh.
me.
That's scary.
So again, the commission wasn't worth it. I just
No.
wouldn't take that chance.
I was thinking, what was it? How am I going to get home tonight? What's
Right.
Going, yeah. Yeah.
What's it going to take for me
What's
to
it
get home
going to take
tonight?
for me to get home tonight?
That's my mentality when I put my feet on the floor every morning.
That's going to be my mantra.
It works.
Yeah.
It's worked for me for 20 some years now.
Yeah.
We're going to wrap it up because we've gone into some pretty heavy stuff today. And so we want to wrap it up with a little fun segment, our very popular Around the 505, popular to us anyway. Cassandra, Sonia, if you've had a long day, maybe a stressful showing and weird client vibes, where's your go-to spot in Albuquerque to recharge, reset, or breathe a little? Sonia, go ahead.
I like to go to Ex Nova over here in Corrales, grab a beer, maybe take my dog. If it's a nice day, sit outside, maybe meet up with some friends. I just really like the atmosphere there. So food truck, maybe get some food. But yeah, I like to unwind in that area.
Nice.
Yeah. How about you?
Oh gosh. was thinking about this before we went online. My number one place to go if I've had a stressful day would probably be Ruth Chris over on Louisiana in Indian School.
Mm-hmm.
Sit at the bar, nothing fancy. Hopefully my favorite bartender, Julian, is working. And he knows exactly what I like to order. And he's like, the usual. And I'm like, yes.
Okay, what's your usual? You have to tell us now.
Grey Goose dry martini with a lemon twist.
Oh,
And he
Nice.
makes
very classy.
the best.
Yes.
Very classy.
Maybe I'll have to go with you one time.
We'll have to do it.
We'll have to do it. Yeah, that sounds
Although
great.
Novo, you can do a martini with me.
Okay, sounds great.
It's a deal.
And as for me, I have one this week. As somebody who used to work for O'Neill's Pub, I'm a little bit biased, but I really love the Irish coffee that they have there. They've got the best one in town, in my opinion. They make it right there in front of you. It's amazing. There's an O'Neill's now on Wantabo. I believe that's the only location. I think the other one is closed down,
Oh,
but just as good as the original. And yeah, Irish cream, Irish coffee. That's just one of the best.
Sounds amazing. Well, they
Yeah.
should make a good Irish one if it's an Irish pub.
I
Yeah,
know, right?
exactly.
Right? Yeah.
You'd be surprised what some of the things do. Very eclectic.
Sam knows what
menu.
he's
Voice
talking
of
about.
experience.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it.
Alrighty, so we're going to wrap it up for today. Cassandra, thank you so much for being here. Before we close out, well, what's one thing everyone listening, whether they're an agent or not, should remember about staying safe in real estate?
Pay attention to your gut. Pay attention to your intuition. No matter what you're doing, listen to it, react to it. It's going to keep you safe. It's there for a reason. Women have it, men have it, children have it, elders have it. Pay attention to it. If something's not right, stop.
Yep.
That's great. Great advice. And so, Cassandra, thank you very much for joining us today. We hope to have you back on our show coming soon. If anybody would like to get a hold of you, why don't you go ahead and speak right into this camera and just let everyone know how they can get in contact with you?
Easiest way to get a hold of me is probably through my cell phone, 505-480-8035. If you have a scenario you want to run past, you can email me at abqladyrealtor@gmail.com.
Awesome. Any social media sites people should look for?
Everything is ABQ Lady Realtor.
Perfect. And Sonia, you know the drill. Right into that camera
Yep.
and let us know how you spell your name.
Sonia Kalvert. That's Kalvert with a K. And you can reach me at 505-207-0082.
Perfect. And if you want to connect with any of the other brokers here at Venturi Realty Group, or just want to hear some more smart conversations like this, head to welcomehomeabq.com or call us at 505-448-8888. And you can watch all of the episodes of Live Love New Mexico at abq.re/livelovenm. Until next time, live well, love where you live, and we'll see you around New Mexico.
Bye.
Thanks for watching the video all the way to the end. We appreciate you. And please click subscribe. We'll keep you updated on what's going on with real estate in the Albuquerque area and New Mexico, and of course, across the entire country. Have a great one.